Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, a scientist and innovator par excellence, an educator and leader like no other. Born on the 12th day of August in 1919 to Sarla Devi and Ambalal Sarabhai, he hailed from a lineage of industrialists deeply committed to the Indian independence movement. Vikram would soon develop a fervour for the sciences. After graduating from Gujarat College, he went on to pursue a post-graduation in the University of Cambridge. However, the Second World War would force him to return home. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise. His return saw him study under the tutelage of Sir C.V. Raman. Eventually, he would go back to Cambridge and return to India in 1947 with a PhD in cosmic rays, ready to foster a new era of growth and development.
You know, one of the things he did, and I mentioned earlier that he left this behind into the organization's DNA, was to motivate people from the point of view of what the end goal was. To make you feel that what you were doing was part of a larger whole which contributed to something big.
This led him to establish multiple institutes across sectors. 1962 saw his first tryst with space. His track record in the sciences saw him appointed as chairman of the newly formed Indian National Committee on Space Research. As chairman, he oversaw the setting up of the Tumba Equatorial Launching Station in Trivandrum in 1963, a career highlight to this day. This was the base that launched India's first rocket into outer space.
He knew that all the sounding rocket sites in Western countries were in the middle latitudes or near North Pole. There were no equatorial sites. And so he said Tumba would be an equatorial site which would be of great interest to international scientific community.
1966 saw him take on a new role, this time chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission of India. His supervision resulted in the installation of a breeder reactor in Kalpakam, the formation of the Uranium Corporation of India, besides also advancing nuclear research for societal benefits.
He brought a unique combination of course, exceptional ability in science along with an industrial background. And this helped in particular to develop the fast reactor program in Kalpakam.
He was very human, a great visionary, a great patriot, great institution builder, but also a great man manager.
His relentless drive to progress atomic research for human good would soon be noticed by the United Nations. He was subsequently nominated as the scientific chairman for the Committee on Atomic Research and Outer Space for peaceful purposes. Dr. Vikram also took it upon himself to educating the masses.
And Dr. Sarabhai had picked up the idea from Gandhiji's basic idea that the development that we are looking for, economic development, the social development and all other things, will happen only through education.
His belief that knowledge ought to be universal saw him enlist the services of NASA to bring direct-to-home television for the first time to the country.
Particularly in a country like India where the large mass of people who have to be motivated are illiterate, it is very important to, I think, have the information input as an integral part of the developmental process. And I think a powerful technique like a audiovisual presentation through television can be one of the most important motivations, a catalyst for action.
So that was a remarkable precursor to all that we are doing today with the communication satellites, in the case of education, in the case of health, and of course doing communication for broadcasting, for television programs, and many other kinds of news and telephony, telegraph, everything that you think of in the today's insats are being used in a big way.
One of his final contributions to the country, one that cements his place in our history, is the setting up of the Satish Dhawan Space Centre, a state-of-the-art spaceport on the island of Sriharikota. This remains the most defining contribution to India's space exploration program.
It is not the space program itself, but the way the space program has been built, which is important, of how generation after generation of people take on that leadership.
His immense contributions saw him earn the Padma Bhushan in 1966 and Padma Vibhushan posthumously in 1972. Today, he is renowned and celebrated by the country that continues to be inspired by his brilliance. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the man who paved the way for India's phenomenal growth story. Truly, a man ahead of his times.